Why are we lying to ourselves and others with confidence on these episodes? So we are on Love is Blind, season 6, episodes 10 and 11, correct? It's just crazy the things that people will tell themselves, tell other people, and then it's like the audience is like, what the hell? My name is Seneca. Welcome to my casual channel. I like to sit and talk about Love is Blind, anything that is related to like life and society, be it casual or monumental. This is more casual. I'm just gonna go through the things that stood out to me about Love is Blind. I took notes, so if you see me referring to this side, I'm just looking at my notes so I can talk about everything I need to talk about in the sequence of events in which they happened. I used to just like talk about whatever the heck stood out to me and not in chronological order, but like I just need to change that up. So the first thing that happens, the opening scene, is we see Jeramey talking to his mom about that whole entire like great shameful thing that he did. Well, not great shameful, but it's like shameful. It's like no matter how you slice it or dice it, the way that Jeramey is trying to do, he basically just runs down with his mom and is like, yeah, so, met up with this girl at this thing. We had a conversation, may or may not have gotten from, like, 4:30 to, like, 5:30 a.m. Like, it's just what happened. And then we see his mom is like, yeah, you're lucky it wasn't me, because I would have picked you a new one. Thank you so much to his mom for not enabling him, because I could have fully seen his mom just being like an enabler, as so many boy moms are. It's like, a boys will be boys type thing. Although that may be like a Netflix, sometimes I feel like, how different would it be if the cameras weren't there, but the cameras are there, so it's like, you know, so shout out to her for simply just speaking truth when I know it probably might be a little bit hard to talk about your son's flaws. But truly, like, that I'm happy that he was held a little bit accountable by his mom, because I feel like he's not holding himself accountable. And we'll get into more of that kind of later as we see them talk and as I talk about them talking. But it's just such a crappy situation. I hate the fact that Jeramey's like, I'm trying to make a version. We'll get into it. Okay, so we meet Jimmy's parents. This episode is so, I feel like we're really seeing North Carolina. Like, I feel like we're truly seeing the culture of North Carolina in the way that Jimmy's parents are named Janet and James. I don't know what about that gives Bumpkin, but there's something about alliterated names that just be given. Yeah, this is Sally Mae, and this is her mom. This is their mom, Sam and Samantha. There's just something about it that's like, I don't know. That might be like a little, I don't know if that's rude of me to say. Anyway, so we meet Janet and James. And we meet the whole entire family. How is he the only attractive one out of that family? I'm so sorry, but come on. So I was nervous because I was nervous that Chelsea was going to be like, he called me clingy. Did you raise a person to be called clingy? Like, did you raise somebody that would call a woman clingy? You know, because she brought up the whole clingy comment to like 2 groups of people. No, I think it was maybe 1. Either way, she brings it out to people she does not need to be talking about it with. So, Jimmy's mom is shocked that Chelsea's 30. What? And then Chelsea says, oh my god, so they're talking about their dynamic. And they're all like, you guys are good to get married, right? You're good? And like, they're putting on this facade, which is like, I mean, I don't blame them. It's what you have to do. You have to sell your best self, even when it's really incorrect. Not saying that you have to lie. You never have to lie. You never have to lie. But the way that this situation is, like, if you want the family of your fiance to trust you, I guess really you just gotta throw anything out there. And I'm not saying it's correct, but I'm saying I could see why they lied. But it was ridiculous to hear Chelsea say, I wouldn't say that we even fight. Like, yeah, because Jimmy's like, we've only had like a couple of fights. And Chelsea's like, I wouldn't even say that we fight. Chelsea, be so freaking for real. Chelsea, be so for real. I wouldn't even say may we fight? No, Chelsea, what the hell? What is that then? What is that, disagreements? They're not even disagreements. He left the house. That one time. He left the house. Y'all have fights and then you make up. And then you, not break up, but then you, fight again. I understand the need to be no, everything's good. It comes from a place of wanting to reassure people in your life that, everything is good with you. But it's no, it's not. So we go to, also, I just want to say, I was going to go on to Amy and Johnny. Why would I rush to them? They give us not a thing. No, but it just is weird because it's also Netflix they're going to watch Netflix when this comes out. So either way, even if you're lying, the tapes will be played. What are we doing? Chelsea and Johnny are such an interesting, Chelsea and Jimmy are such an interesting couple. Yeah, just, it's so Amy and Johnny, they're building something together. Wow, fun. Boring. It's boring. We then have AD and Clay. Also a comment that was about, AD, and, there was a comment left on my channel that was incorrect last time, and it was about, somebody commented on, oh, I don't think that, what was his name? Ken. I don't think that Ken brought up that thing to Brittany because I don't think Ken's even interested in Brittany, so why would he bring something up to her? Which is a if you are going off of your feelings of what potentially could happen in the show, sure. But Ken did come up to bring that up with Brittany. It wasn't just somebody else bringing it. Was Ken bringing it up to Brittany, and I just want to say, if you're gonna come on my channel and leave a little comment and be well, I think about something that's incorrect, come on my channel correctly or be like Johnny and don't come at all. It's insane I haven't gotten to stand up. Anyway, so then we got AD and Clay. So we eat AD's mom, Jacqueline, whatever the heck. AD says that she's excited for her mom to meet Clay, but then also, again, kind of slightly sprinkles in a little bit of smack talking. I want to say talking, but I don't want to edit this too much. So it's weird the way that you put your spouse up on a pedestal to be oh my god, this is Clay, he's so amazing, but he also did this thing that I want to discuss about so we can talk about him. Just, I don't know, but it also is real, I guess. How do you feel about it? Let me know. AD lies and says I said AD lies. Clay, whenever they're kind of getting introduced and whatever, they're talking very nice about each other, much nicer than when we met Clay's family. What the heck was that? Clay lies and is honestly, I felt a little bit bad about my work schedule. You literally sat in this woman's face in front of your mother and your sister and been you know what? AD doesn't know what this life is about because AD hasn't worked yet. AD hasn't put in the work like I do. I be putting in work. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I just feel what the heck are these? Maybe he does feel a little bit bad and maybe he is speaking from a place of truth, but I just want to say I find that to not be as truthful and as real as what the heck we were shown that last time when he was talking to his mom. So then Clay mentions the whole, oh, my parents had been married for 24 years. But then you gotta mention the cheating. You gotta mention the fact that you do not believe you've seen a strong Black couple because of your role models and because of the infidelity trips your dad took. It just shows that longevity does not equal success in relationships, okay? Longevity does show, oh, these people can love each other, can be together for a decent amount of time, but what happened within those 24 years is not always as healthy as we assume it to be. And I think that that's exactly what Jacqueline thought of, is just you know what, that is successful. You need to take a hint from you. No, his parents, he's traumatized from that marriage, I'm pretty sure, because he can't stop talking about it. And the divorce, it's not just oh, you had a successful marriage and then you got divorced and had a bad last couple of years. It's no, some people stick together because they're too afraid to leave and can't leave. I just found that to be a little bit trifling, but I also understand, like, Jacqueline's really just trying to go off the information that's being given to her. Also, I will say, Jacqueline is such a calming presence. I feel like she's very encouraging to AD. I feel like she's very trying to be, like, uplifting and not... I'm so sorry. And not really trying to, like, challenge her, you know, the way that some parents do. And I really appreciate that. I feel like there are a lot of parents where it's, you either get the angry, like, controlling archetype, or you get the, we're just here along for the ride, and they're kind of excited to be on Netflix. And then there's, like, the, let me hear you out and also encourage you kind of art. And I really love that, because it just is showing that those parents think of their children as autonomous beings. Like, yeah, Jacqueline being like, you know what, your parents did it right. No, they didn't. And you're gonna figure out when you watch the show, they didn't. And then also she does this thing where she goes like, we're like this. I think maybe she was referring to women in the way that, like, women can multitask and have a lot of things going on. We're like this. But I was like, what the heck does that mean? What does that mean? I don't understand. And I'm very confused. Is anybody else confused? Is that just because I wasn't brought up in a Black household that I just can't understand these, like, little, like, what? Johnny and Amy, we meet Amy's dad. Oh my God. We were expecting this kind of, like, scary, intimidating man. Because typically when, a la Bliss, typically when, sorry, did I say men? Typically when people bring up, like, oh, I have a parent who's not really supportive of this process. I have a parent who's kind of, who I think I just will hold their opinion to the high standard. I just have a parent who just won't like this, won't like you. I have a parent who, it's always scary because we're just expecting, like, this is going to be hard. This is going to be tough. Like, and it's just a parent that's not hard on their child, but hard on their partners. And for some, I feel like that's a good reason to be hard on your child's partner in case, like, you want to kind of not intimidate them or scare them, but just let them know, like, hey, if you do anything harmful, just know I am the parent behind this, and I'm not going to let that happen. I appreciate those, but it's also, there's some parents where it's like, you're just being hard for nothing. Like, you're being hard, like, Stacy's dad being like, so were you financially set? Because love is all good, but, like, millions make a life. You know, like, so whatever. We were expecting Amy's dad to be kind of scary, kind of weird. I was expecting maybe to be a little weird, a little oversteppy, but he was fine. Johnny, when he sits down with him, like, tries to sell himself, and honestly, he sounded like a little bit naive in the way that he was like, I want to retire. I don't want to be like 70 or 80 working. A lot of people in this economy are 70 working. 70, I don't even think is really that old. It's like you not just reached senior citizen status, but, like, it wouldn't be shocking if a millennial was working at 70. Like, it'd be shocking maybe if you were, like, a Gen Xer, but Johnny's eye contact is also so incredibly intense. Like, he'd be like, I don't want to be working at 70, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't even, like, stop to smile and, like, try to invite the dad in. It's just so, like, I mean, it's him. He's doing him. He's really doing nothing wrong. He's really one of the best man of this. That's so disappointing. He is the best man of this thing. Yeah. Johnny, okay, so also it was weird because, well, I will say it was interesting finding out the dad was like, so tell me about yourself. I feel like we miss a lot of that in these shows where parents are like, tell me about yourself, because it's always just them talking straight into their relationship. So I like that we saw, like, the tell me about yourself. It felt like a normal, like, meet the boyfriend conversation until he was like, so could I have your daughter's hand in marriage? It just felt very, like, quick, like, you just told me about yourself. I just want to know how much time has passed between the tell me about yourself and can I have your daughter's hand in marriage. Like, I'm assuming it maybe was like an hour. Is that safe to assume? But it made it seem like it was like 5 minutes in between, but it probably wasn't. Also, can we just talk about the fact that Trevor is now, there are allegations that he has been in a relationship the whole time while they were filming this, and he had, like, a whole entire, like, was it fiance or was it longtime girlfriend? Either way, those allegations are out there. Oh my god, I want to talk about them at the end of this video so that I don't get too off track. Okay, so Chelsea and Jimmy, of course, but honestly, we need to expect like another argument. We did. So Chelsea and Jimmy, they're just talking. They're like having a little bit of drinks. Jimmy's like, now that I met your friends, like I really like you, and they're just kind of whatever. And then Chelsea is saying, well, you made me really mad this morning. That, you know, when we hear like, it's gonna be something. It's gonna turn into something else. Not saying it's not valid. Not saying her insecurities and her ability to vocalize them are wrong. It's just, I feel like in the context of when it's being brought up, it's always going to be brought up as like, I'm going to bring this up and it's going to be kind of like soft and I'm going to say my cutesy voice, but then I'm going to turn it into an issue. So it does get turned into an issue where Chelsea is like, BTW made me mad that you went out with your friends and I was sent alone. Like, waiting for you. Why didn't you invite me? Also, can somebody clarify if he did or didn't invite her? Because from what I was seeing, it seemed like he didn't invite her, which he's in the wrong for that one. Honestly, I feel like, especially when you have a new partner, you should invite them. But at the same time, I feel like even if he didn't want her to come, he could have been like, I'm gonna stop by this place, and I honestly would like some spare. I don't know. How do you bring that up? It's not wrong for Jimmy to have wanted to go alone, right? But it is kind of like sticky because like it makes Chelsea insecure. It would make me insecure if my husband just like didn't invite me to a place and just went, you know? But also, like, how much of a notice did Chelsea have? I feel like we should have seen that footage. I wish we could have seen that footage because it's like the way that we're being kind of shown this is just like, oh, Chelsea brought it up because she's upset over valid reasons, but I feel like the reaction is just over. It's just too much. So like going out on your own is not bad, but when you have a partner who wants to be considered, you absolutely have to consider them. And I think that's where I see that Chelsea is like has valid reasons for getting upset, but the way that she gets upset is just she gets really triggered. And I think, and somebody said this, no, multiple people have said that Chelsea's been cheated on before by female friends of her past boyfriends, and I can see where that would like strike a nerve with you if you were like, you were hanging out with your, also this is kind of jumping to another thing, but the fact that Chelsea isn't cool with Jimmy's girlfriends, I can see where that might have triggered her, but I feel like Johnny, also, I just don't understand the hype behind Jimmy. I'm so sorry if I keep saying Johnny, oh my god. I don't understand the hype between Jimmy. He's like an everyday man. Like, he's not gonna make you feel like the only girl in the world. Like, we've seen that within his past actions. But it's kind of hard not to feel bad for him because they have these arguments and she kind of just like goes off and a little bit overreacts. And he's understanding at the end. But in the middle, it's kind of like, you should have at least known to like do every possible thing that you could. And this is bad. To just make sure that like she is heard, accounted for, considered, whatever the heck. Because whenever like she does get really insecure, it doesn't come out in a constructive conversation where you guys sit and talk and like work through things. It comes out when she's like feeling like upset and like leading with insecurity. Like, this is really tough to watch. Then we find out that the whole and I know you is from the fact that he has female friends that he was intimate with, which, oh, the tea. But yeah, we were all hoping it was going to be Jessica. No, we all were hoping it was going to be Jessica. It was like hinted at that it was going to be Jessica, and the fact that it's not is a little bit disappointing, but tea nonetheless, because when we got introduced to his female friends, I said out loud to my husband sitting next to me, I wonder why nothing has ever happened with them. But then I was thinking, I'm too progressive for that thought. What am I doing? Guys and girls can be friends in this day and age. No, one of them has hooked up with him. No, I was thinking that because like his friends were not unattractive. His friends kind of look like the same attractive level as Chelsea. So I was like, this, and they've only been friends for like 2 years. Interesting. So yeah, and it's like clear as to why Jimmy didn't want that on camera, because then you have little girls like me being like, okay. How do we feel about that? Because it's like, there is no good reason that she should have mentioned that on camera. But I'm happy that she did. Somebody let me know, are we progressed enough to get over the fact that he hooked up with one of his friends? I feel like that's really common. I really do feel like that's really common. I personally, no, I couldn't handle it. If my husband and if my husband had a friend that he hooked up with, I couldn't do it. I just know myself. I'm not secure enough to deal with that. And neither is Chelsea. And Chelsea should have been upfront with him. The fact that, like, she's not cool with him having girlfriends. For real. Like, when she was like, oh, when they asked, how do you feel about him having girlfriends? And she was like, oh, I can't even judge because I have guy friends. You knew you were lying. You knew you were lying. What are we doing again? Like, for this situation, I do feel for Chelsea, but it's also like, you said you were cool. And then, yeah, are we progressive enough to get over the fact that he has been intimate with one of his friends? Like, taking my emotions out of this, for Jimmy, I feel kind of bad, because it's like, you can't help that. He also was trying to be honest with Chelsea. Shoot. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. Thank goodness me and my husband have the same body count. And we both know what our body count is. And the people that have given us our numbers, and the fact that none of us are friends with them. Cut them off. Whatever. So, okay. AD and Clay. AD and Clay are chilling at the house. I like watching them chill. Like, I like little conversations that are kind of, like, cute. Because not everything has to be about infidelity. Not everything has to be about, oh my god, my past. Like, I get it. You need to work through that before you get married. But it just takes a little bit of the drama off. The pressure. And then we see that AD is like, listen, I know, we need to talk about, like, the yeses and the nos. I'm okay with if it's a yes or a no with the altar, but just know I'm not looking to be a long-term fiance. Which is really interesting, because she kind of goes on to explain, I really want to honor this process. I believe in this process. It's what we signed up for. It's what the heck I'm trying to do. But just know if you say no, I don't see us progressing forward. Which, interesting. I would much rather us both be on the same. I know, like, it's not fun for Netflix for me to be like, I'd rather just say no and let's just date. Let's just date for a little bit. I'd rather us both secretly say no to each other, like, beforehand, and then say no at the altar and be like, we're gonna figure each other out and just be long-term fiancés for a while. I was engaged to my husband for like a year. I know this is completely different, but honestly, it made it kind of nice to be like, we'll just be like this for a little bit. Is it respectable to be like, listen, if you want me, you have all of me, and all you have to do is say yes? Or is it kind of like, yeah, but would you rather be long-term fiancés or, like, married for, like, a couple months and then divorced? You know? I don't know. Let me know. Jimmy and Chelsea have the, like, makeup conversation. And it was an open conversation where Chelsea did get very real about the things. Well, they both kind of got real. But it's really hard because you know that whenever you do mature and whenever you get into, like, a serious relationship, the most constructive time to have conversations about your insecurities are obviously not in fights, but that's, like, the most common times of when they're gonna pop up, because when you're angry, you just say whatever the heck you can with any filter. I feel like they need to be aware of the fact that, like, you need to have these conversations about your insecurities and whatever the heck is going on when you feel most comfortable, like, beforehand, where it's kind of like where it's kind of like their makeup talks, but it's before the fight even happens. I'm not, like, a relationship guru at all. I literally have only been with my husband for, like, 5 years and only been married for almost 2. I'm nothing, okay? Just gonna put it out there, but I just feel like Jimmy and Chelsea are gonna continue to go in this, like, toxic cycle of just having these arguments if they don't just simply, like, get real and honest about their feelings the moment that they feel them. Okay, so then we got the classic pool party. Okay, I have so many notes on the pool party. Everybody meets up. We're like, oh, I can't wait for everybody to see everybody. I can't wait for the tea to be spilled. I can't wait for this to be going. And I did not expect our most anticipated people to see each other were people who were, like, together. Like, Laura and, what's his name? Jeramey. I'm calling him Jeramey. Some people call him Jeramey. That's adding a little bit too much spice to him, and he's a little bit too bland for that, so we're calling him Jeramey. So everyone meets up. Laura sits down and has a little, like, truth scrunchie or whatever the heck AD uses just to get the tea from everybody. So Laura recounts everything, and I stand by all of her actions. I don't like Laura as a person. I would never be friends with her. I don't think a lot of people on Netflix, as the audience, I don't think a lot of people identify with her unless you're like her. Like, but I do stand by her actions and the way that she's like, he did this. This is how I responded. That was not cool. I took everything and I just got so upset that I'm not talking for like a while. Because I just think that Jeramey is just so incredibly, he's just being stupid. Like, he's being so incredibly stupid. He's being so incredibly like, well, you know what? I tried and that's it. So she can like deal with whatever she needs to deal with. I gave her a shot. I gave her flowers. And the fact that she's angry is a little bit ridiculous. So I'm just going to stop trying. Good for them, honestly, for simply just, good for Laura for just simply, like, moving on. But it's upsetting that Jeramey kind of has to be like, I did one thing, like, I tried, as opposed to just being like, you know what, that was so incredibly stupid of me. Take your time. I'm going to be here to, like, apologize on hand and knee. Whatever. Is it? Tell me, I don't know how anybody feels about this because I watched the episodes early in the AM because I had work. And then I'm just doing this thing because whatever. Nobody cares. So, Laura recounts everything. Chelsea says Trevor's a beefy man. There's something about the word beefy being next to like a human being that I am a little uncomfortable with. I'm realizing as I say that. So as Laura's kind of recounting everything, Jeramey walks in. We're like, oh shoot. And then Jeramey comes in. He's like talking to everybody. And he's like, yeah, you know, so me and Sarah and we're talking until it somehow is 5 a.m. Doing the whole like, so, you know, 5 a.m. And honestly, someone give Jeramey an Oscar for the role of victim in all of this. Somebody give Jeramey an Oscar for playing the victim so unbelievably well. Because he truly believes it in his heart. That, like, he's the one that's kind of, like, going through this. And that he was just doing what he needed to do until 5 a.m. Interesting. Yeah, the whole, like, I tried to talk to her and she's just angry. No, you got greedy, and she's reacting. She is angry, and she's a little bit ridiculous and kind of mean. But the way that your transgressions were a fireable offense. So we see Jess and Jimmy, and we're, like, waiting for Jess and Jimmy to talk. Everybody meets her, like, hey, Jess, Jimmy, we know y'all know. I've seen you guys see each other. Talk about seeing each other's pictures. Jess plays it mature when she goes down to talk to Jimmy, and we're like waiting for this long-awaited moment of like, you're gonna choke. See if he's gonna choke. He doesn't. Jess is like, be good to my friend. Which is like, yeah, I feel like you came in with a smoke of like, he's gonna see me and he's gonna choke. I am dangling temptation. And it was just like, be good to my friend. Be good to my friend. But honestly, I think the whole world is going to view Jess as a lot more likable for this conversation than if she had been like, yeah, you were my number one. Let me know if things don't. If she's Sarah and this, the world would be really upset, but very entertained. But she really did play it correct because we got Jimmy to say, like, you terrify me, you know? Like, you're intimidating. You're a beautiful woman. He didn't say you're a beautiful woman, but he was thinking it. Yeah, like, what the heck? I found that to be really interesting. So we then see that Sarah Ann shows up. Uh, did I spend too little time on the Jess and Jimmy? No, I said all I needed to say. We see that Sarah Ann shows up. Laura says, how dare she? And girl, me too. How dare she? How dare she? That's so, like, ridiculous of her to just be showing up here, like, trying to, like, integrate herself when she knows she's, like, in trouble. It's, like, weird also because everyone's aware of this, like, tension in the air. Also, I'll get to my feelings about the Sarah Ann and AD conversation because that was interesting. And then the Sarah Ann and Jeramey thing, they're so childish, bro. It actually makes me ill. Trevor and Chelsea have I was gonna say an awkward conversation, but it really wasn't that awkward. It just read to me as kind of like, you guys are not giving like tension, y'all are just giving like weird. Then also because we know that Trevor has had a parent, allegedly, a girl. It's alleged because it's like, I don't know how fake those texts were. I don't know. I don't know enough to think critically about this, but if we're given correct information, Trevor had somebody at this specific time, and it's so disappointing as Trevor looked like such a sweet, nice guy. But it makes sense because he looked like such a sweet, nice guy. Nobody is that sweet and nice and just like looks like that. To be honest, nobody really just like looks like that and that is that nice of a guy. Let's just like, seriously. It's weird watching this back because you're like, oh, you look calculated. And I don't know. I want to see what he's going to say. Is he going to be at the reunion? Oh, swear to God. Y'all better put him on the reunion. If we don't get any of these answers and we have to go to people's social media for them to be like, oh, well, the Netflix camera crew told me to say this specific thing and I didn't actually have a girlfriend. She was just my situationship and I met. Oh, we need the hosts to put the fire to the flame and get these actual answers from people. Do your jobs, Netflix. Send out the invitations and get everybody there at the reunion. Dang. Like, I don't even know what it takes to get people to a reunion, but do it. Oh my God. Jimmy's head gets overheated about Chelsea pointing out the very obvious fact that Amy and Johnny were the strongest couple because he's drunk. In these moments I'm like, they're very clearly the strongest couple. They have not fought in public or maybe even behind, like, where is this? Why would you say please, bro? Please. It in my mind I was kind of thinking like, okay, maybe Jimmy does have a little bit toxic in him because you don't entertain a toxic relationship. You don't entertain somebody that's like more difficult if you yourself are not a little toxic, a little bit enjoy it, a little bit like are fine with it. You know what I mean? Jeremy and Laura have the conversation they've been avoiding for 3 days. Actually, let's talk about, okay, I understand that Laura is upset, and I would be too, okay? I'm a very avoidant person whenever I don't want to talk, and somebody else is in the wrong. It's like, you have to come to me, okay? You have to come to me because you made me upset. Why am I going to put the effort into, like, mending this thing when you did it? And then also, like, flowers for this situation, no. You're going to, like, you're going to try to find my place, beg profusely for, like, forgiveness. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of things that Jeremy wasn't doing, but 3 days is like a long time. I'm just thinking from the perspective of a healthy relationship. Me and my husband have gone times where we just simply haven't talked because I've been upset with him and he's been in the wrong, but I expect him to like come up to me. But if he doesn't at a certain time, I have to say something. I have to say something to let my feelings be known so they don't simmer and like get too ugly and angry. So I just feel like 3 days, it's a little long. Is that valid for her to be like not letting him talk for 3 days? I feel like yes, because I don't like Jeremy, but also from a healthy relationship standpoint, you shouldn't ever let it get to 3 days, right? Let me know. Okay, so Jeremy basically is like, the way that you declined my flowers was rude. It was rude, and I don't doubt that it was rude. I don't. And be that as it may, Jeremy still committed a fireable offense. He's getting his fire up at the flames. AD and Sarah Ann's conversation was an interesting conversation. I saw somebody's review, Tate's Take, if you watch Tate's Take. about the fact that, like, it's weird that AD was interjecting when she, like, needs to worry about her own situation. And it like, maybe it is, but it's also, like, we don't know Sarah Ann and Sarah's relationship. Maybe they do be having those conversations like that. But I appreciate that AD was the one to keep it real. Because somebody need to keep it real with Sarah Ann. And if it was going to be Laura, they would just, like, bark at each other. Nothing constructive would be talked about. I think it was good to have, like, a third party who, like, knew all the information come in and be like, what are you doing? Because it was Laura, this is what State recommended. It was like, why wasn't it Laura to be the one to ask? I personally think if it was Laura, then everybody would have been on the defense and it would have just, like, nothing would have happened. I think it was an incredibly real conversation, and I give big ups to AD for having it. So essentially, it was just like, AD's like, what the heck are you doing? What are you doing? I read the text. What the heck? Sarah Ann's kind of explaining, being like, yeah, well, it was this. Really, I feel like she was trying to downplay the text, downplay her intentions. And Sarah Ann's perspective, which I do not agree with, I can see why she would feel this and feel like she's not villainous, but I don't agree with it. I feel like it is villainous. Sarah Ann's perspective is just, I put it all on the line because in the pods, I didn't do that. So I need to do it now. I recognize that Laura and Jeramey are together, but at the same time, if there's any way for me to wiggle in and any way I can, like, get my man, there, in my head, we're acting like I'm Sarah, okay? In my head, there's no ill intent there because I'm just trying to take an opportunity if it comes my way. That's what Sarah Ann's perspective is. And I'm not saying it's good at all. I do not agree with that. I would never do that. I would be trifling as hell for that. I do see where somebody with that much delusion, yeah, it's only delusional, could be like, I did nothing wrong, there was not ill intent. What's the definition of ill intent then? Because literally the point of that message, the point of you talking to him, the point of you guys staying up till 5:30 a.m. was the fact that you were, like, trying to see if there's going to be something, even though he's literally already in, like, a committed thing. If there was no ill intent, both of y'all would have just simply been single, and then you would have been, like, shot your shot. But it is ill whenever somebody is committed. But it's, at the same time, Laura was extremely correct in the way that she said, I don't respect Sarah Ann, but my loyalty is with Jeramey. And that's true. Her respect was with Jeramey. Jeramey was the one who committed to her, so Jeramey should be the one to show up and treat her correctly. But if Jeramey is able to be taken away that quickly by somebody that was just shooting their shot, they deserve to be together then. They can both be trash together. In my opinion, that's a trashy thing to do, to send a DM like that. And then also to meet up like that. And to then have a conversation and be like, I got nothing. There's no ill intent there. Stop. And people are delusional. So, I like that AD was like, the hell? You are, like, really... And it's really interesting because Sarah Ann initially described herself as a patriot. Like, that's not very patriotic, because I feel like patriotism is, like, a loyalty to whatever the heck you want to be loyal to. And I'm thinking, like, are her actions exactly what American patriotism is? Because it's like, no, if I'm gonna have a chance to steal what's mine, I'm gonna steal what's mine. That's evil. Anyway, so then we go into the wedding dress try-ons. Do I need to wrap up anything about the pool party? The pool party always gives, bro. There will be nothing like a bunch of mid-20 to mid-30-year-olds, gathering together like the teacher just kind of, like, ran out of their middle school classroom. I don't know what it is about pools that makes people delusional and say what they need to say, what they would like to say, but oh wait, no, I'm not gonna go to the wedding dress try-ons because I have to talk about the fact that Laura and Jeramey had the conversation. He's basically like, so how are you feeling? And she's like, I'm horrible, Zach, not good. And then he's like, well, I think I did talk about this. But basically, I feel bad for Laura, and I feel like she needed this, honestly. Like, if things were to go fine with Laura and they were going to get married and everything, people would not have liked Laura. I think the fact that she's kind of put herself in this position of simply just being like, I'm hurt, and I was betrayed, and I blah, blah, blah. We now like Laura as a person because we're rooting for her and her happiness. And it's trifling that Sarah Ann and Jeramey were so immature to be like, let's go on these jet skis, let's jet ski around everybody. Ew. Ew. Although I will say, I think that they're going to get a lot of social media hate. They're going to be cyberbullied because of this. I think it's never fine to like give people hate online if you're like putting in a comment or a DM. I think it's really disgusting because it's like, don't try to like play God and like make these people feel the consequences of their things, because it's like, we're not these people in these people's lives. Like, stop trying to do that. But I don't know, just like weird as hell that you think that you can just, I don't know, do these little trifling things and think that you're completely in the right, and that like Jeramey could just say like, oh, I 100% made the bad decision and I don't think anything was wrong about our 5 a.m. conversation even though I'm engaged, man. God. I say all that to say, don't go into people's DMs and leave comments, hate comments, for people you don't know. Like, I just think that's weird. But I do see them getting a lot of hate. Anyways, so no, now we have the wedding dress try-ons. Boring. Honestly, I just don't really, the only time I felt something was when I was watching, what's her name? Amy's mom say something to her and was like, you've always been such a beautiful, or you've always been such a fill-in-the-blank adjective girl. I was like, oh my god, that's so, oh my god, this is really a human being. This is really a human being who's had a past and grown up, and now she's trying on dresses and her mom is there. Oh my god, you know. It's just so beautiful. Okay, so we have the last dates. Sorry if you wanted more from the wedding dress scenes. Don't got anything in me. Last dates, we have Clay and AD's last date, which, I don't know, not a lot happened, but beautiful setting. I liked it. We have Johnny and Amy's last date. It's Johnny and Amy. Chelsea and Jimmy rented out like a whole entire like park, like roller coasters. What is that called? Why don't I know things? Yeah, they rented out like a whole entire park. And they have like a fun little date. They have like, they end off on a charcuterie board. Interesting. Also, one thing I gotta say about Jimmy and Chelsea. People are dragging Chelsea because she said like she looks like Megan Fox. Okay, right. What was left out, which is like kind of annoying that like people are dragging her so hard, but not dragging him for the fact that like he responded with the fact that he looks like what is that person's name? Is it Christian McCaffrey? Yes. I want to say, a lot of people are being like, oh, he did not look like Christian McCaffrey. I looked him up. I didn't even know who the heck that was. He looks like a very poor man's Christian McCaffrey. Together, they be giving poor man's impoverished man's Christian McCaffrey and Megan Fox. He has the same features in the way that he has like that pale skin, kind of like reddish. It's like blonde hair, but it's like reddish, like facial hair, you know, strawberry blonde facial hair, but like blonde hair, whatever the heck. People are like, oh my god, he did not look like Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is hot and he's normal. He does a little bit, honestly, but yeah, I just wanted to say that. I just had to get it on my chest. We leave off on a cliffhanger as to whether or not Jimmy and Chelsea are going to say yes to each other. And that's pretty much it. Oh my god, what a show. What a cliffhanger. Whatever the heck. What? I liked this. This was very interesting. Sarah Ann, you gross me out. Really trying to justify your actions when it's like, you should have left it alone. That relationship could have run its course and then you could have slipped in. I don't think that you need to fight for somebody who's in a relationship. Like, that's all I have. If you want to support my channel, you can. Down below in the description, I have like things that you can do to help support me. Or simply just give me a like or a comment or whatever the heck. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day it is, I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or night.